Good afternoon. Hello there, my name is Damon Gordon. I am the Culinary Director for Lowry's Restaurants, and thank you for joining me live here from Lowry's in Beverly Hills. I just want to go over a couple of recipes from Prime Rib Day, which was this past Monday. But before we go anything further, I just want to talk a little bit about some safety. I'm going to remove my mask. I just want to share that on a daily basis in all of our restaurants across the country, which includes all of our prime ribs, 5 pounds of tam o'shanter. We take the use of masks, gloves, sanitizing very, very seriously. And we set timers for how we change our gloves, how we sanitize the tables and everything like that. I have just, as you see, I've just taken mine off. I've taken mine off because for this video, so you can hear me. With the accent and the mask, it may be a little muffled. So we just wanted to let you know on that. So like I said, going back, we're going to do a couple of dishes which can use some leftover prime rib from Prime Rib Day, which was this past Monday. You'll see on our Facebook page we actually had 3 recipes, but we're actually going to do 2 today. The ones we're going to do today is our prime rib tacos, and the second one will be a beef stroganoff, which is a very classic dish, but with the use of prime rib. With that being said, any questions that you may have, I will be more than happy to answer at the end. So please send them along as I'm going through this. But you know, let's ask them at the end. So first things first, we're going to start off with the prime rib tacos. So I have my ingredients here. The first thing, as you see on the recipe, is roasting the jalapenos. So I actually did a little twist today. I'm using some Fresno chili and some serrano. And the way we do it, and on the recipe it says charred and blistered. All you do is you get the pepper and you just place it on the grill. You leave them on the grill for each side, and you just rotate them for about 7, 8 to 10 minutes. And then at the end, what you do is you put them in the container and you cover them. The reason you do that, it creates steam, which then in turn helps the pepper soften, and it makes it super easy to peel. For the beauty of live TV, I actually have some done, but I will go through the process as we're making the tacos. So first things first, we're going to make the crushed avocado. So I get my avocado, cut it in half, twist. The way I use to get the stone out, there's lots of different ways people do it. I just hit it with a knife and twist, and it comes out. Then get a spoon and just scoop the avocado out. Right now is a great time for avocados. You can see they're beautifully and ripe, not forcing with them. Okay, then after that, very simple, get a fork and you just crush very, very coarsely. One tip, if you were making this ahead of time, leaving the actual avocado stone in the avocado actually does stop it from getting brown. So that's not a myth, that's the truth. So then I'm going to season with some salt. Got some kosher salt here, some pepper, then I take fresh lime. Again, another little tip, roll it like this on any citrus. What it does is it helps to break down slightly the inside, which allows it to juice a little easier. Get my avocado. I have one here that's not juicy, so let me get one more. Here we go. Use my avocado, then I mix again. Again, this goes with the The amount of salt, pepper, lime juice, that's all personal taste. I like mine quite acidic, so try disposable spoon here. Definitely a little bit more salt. And some more lime juice. Okay, so as you can see, we bring that nice and close. Crust, kind of like a guacamole, but we don't have anything in it. It's just pure avocado, salt, pepper, and lime juice. One more taste. Make sure. Good. Okay, so the next what we have is, let me get my tongs. Peppers have been on there for a few minutes. As you can see, bring it over for you. You can see the char beginning to happen. That's what you want. That's not going to necessarily, it's not going to give a burnt flavor, or it won't go underneath and burn the flesh underneath. But obviously you have to be mindful of it as it goes through. So next what we have cotija cheese here. Cotija cheese is a hard cow's meat cheese from Mexico, and it has a very salty kind of briny flavor to it. Great to go with the buttery of the avocado. Again, a classic accompaniment here. We have some red radishes, breakfast radishes. You can look at them being pulled in the store. Some fresh cilantro and tortillas. So the tortillas I'm using today, I'm actually using corn. If you wanted to use flour, you could. Again, personal preference. Just remove that while it's there. So as you can see now, beautiful char on the peppers there. So what I will do now, put that there, we'll get a cover on it, and then you just put the lid on it. And then you would let that sit for a good 10-15 minutes. Condensation will start and it'll be easy to peel. So I go back to the radishes. I could cut them in wedges. If you wanted to slice them nice and fine, you could. And then as you can see, these are the roasted peppers right here. So, last but not least, the star of the show, our prime rib. Our certified Angus prime rib. I have sliced it nice and thinly here. I'm going to do a little twist on the recipe. I am actually going to grill the prime rib as well, to give it a little bit of a different flavor profile as well, along with everything else. So a little twist on the recipe. So, first things first, let's do a very quick grill on the prime rib. Really don't want it to be charred. Obviously don't want to overcook it too much. Just want to give it a little different flavor profile. Lovely. Okay, after that, we're going to grill our tortillas. And again, you don't want to leave the tortillas on too long, just to kind of warm them through, and obviously when they warm through, they become a little bit more pliable. As you can see, we'll leave one there. Go the other one. Okay, so first thing first for me, crushed avocado on the base. And again, as much avocado as you want. Then we shall put in our grilled prime rib. Let me just bring it close so you can see how I haven't grilled it too much. You can just see a slight mark. Obviously, I left the fat in the prime rib. That's what keeps it from drying out. Keep it nice and moist. put in our radish. 1, 2, 3. Again, build as much radish as you wish. And again, peppers, as much or as little as a personal kind of what your taste profile is. And for me, my favorite part of this, the cotija cheese. Which actually is like a seasoning for it as well. I'm just using some fresh picked cilantro. And then what we'll do, we'll garnish it with a classic piece of lime. So you can squeeze over the top. How I would serve, I would sit them like this, sit them next to each other. Sit the lime next to it. Plate. And that is our first dish, prime rib tacos with crushed avocado. So let me leave that one there so we can see it. I've got a couple of people here eagerly waiting to eat it. So next one, something I prepared earlier. Okay, so the next one is a beef stroganoff. Beef stroganoff is a very classic Russian dish. Mustard, shallot, garlic, but obviously I did the twist on it with the prime rib. Normally you would saute the beef. It could be fillet, it could be ribeye, it could be whatever kind of cut of beef that you want, but you would be able to cook in a pan. So what I have here, let me just go through the ingredients for you so you can follow along. Obviously our prime rib, as you can see, I just cut them into nice long batons. Nice julienne or fine strips of shallots, button mushrooms, chopped garlic. I've got fettuccine here. You can use whatever pasta you want. Normally it's with a flat pasta that they would serve it with. Dijon mustard, cornichons, little pickles, heavy cream, and here is our au jus. Obviously, and you would get any leftover au jus you would have. You would use this as the base of the sauce. So let's get started. So first, we heat the pan, and then we'll start off cooking the shallots and garlic first. Shallots and garlic first, we'll use a little bit of olive oil. You don't necessarily want to use a fine finishing salad oil, because when you cook it, it will tend to be tasted like it's burnt or very coarse and harsh to the throat. To warm up the oil, then we add the shallots. And garlic. Garlic is definitely one of those ingredients. It's a big fundamental in cooking, and I would suggest to say in this recipe you put in as much or as little as you want. If you wanted to be very garlic forward, then you would. Then season, salt and pepper. So one myth is, not myth, one thing I would like to say that's very important when you're cooking with salt and pepper, and I got taught this at a very, very young age, is that when you season with salt, if you could just put it in at the end after you'll cook something, what's going to happen is it's just going to taste of salt. When you cook with salt during the process, what it actually does is it builds layers of flavor, and it also helps extract the flavor from whatever you're cooking. A great example would be if you are cooking asparagus, you want to put so much salt in the water that obviously salty to the taste, because what happens is that helps bring out the flavor, and the green in the asparagus, which is the chlorophyll. So a little tip for you there. And then secondly, cooking. So we call this sweating in cooking, which means to cook without color. So you're cooking it, you want the shallots, you want the garlic, you want it to go translucent, but you don't want to get any char or burn on it. You just want them to bring out the natural sweetness of the juices of both the onion and the shallots. Okay, so that's been about a couple of minutes there. The shallots and garlic have sweated nicely. I can smell it. I can smell like the sweetness of the shallot coming out. So what we'll add is the next. We're going to add our au jus. What we're going to do is with the au jus, we're going to bring it up to the boil. Now you can, some people may say, oh, you can saute the mushrooms. The thing is, if you saute the mushrooms, what happens is I'm sure you know, when you cook mushrooms, they absorb a lot of oil. So you would be adding lots and lots and lots of oil in. So what we're going to do is, we're going to cook the mushrooms, which I've sliced nice and thin. I will cook them in the sauce for 1 or 2 minutes so they start to soften, still got a bit of bite to them before I add the prime rib. Bring this up to the boil. Okay, so this is now boiling. Next thing, heavy cream. Obviously, what the heavy cream will do is you want to, when you ever add cream to a sauce, if you're using it as an addition to like I use it for au jus, you want to make sure that you've reduced your au jus or your other liquid to where you need it to be. Because otherwise, when you add the cream, because it has so much fat in it, will thicken. But if you boil it too long, it will break. You know, the fats will separate. So. Bring it up to the boil. You see where we are tasting so far. So at this point now, what I will add, I'm going to add my mustard. And as I said earlier with the peppers earlier, and the garlic, it's how this is definitely going to be driven from your personal flavor. If you like things that are a strong mustardy flavor, then obviously you can add a little bit more. Let's see what that. See how with the addition of cream it's made it very rich, and obviously the mustard too. The mustard is obviously has thickened it slightly as well. That being said, let's add our mushrooms. Again, you can see how rich the sauce is going to be, because what you want to do is you want, when we add the prime rib to it, you want the prime rib to be coated with it. The prime rib is cooked already, so you don't need to cook it again. So while that's just sitting there and it's roughly right where it needs to be, the only thing now we need to finish that sauce with is some butter and actually the prime rib, and then we'll finish him with the flavorings. Pasta. I cooked our pasta earlier. One thing which I'm sure everyone says, whenever you make pasta, once it's cooked, never put it in ice water. What happens is it will overcook and it will start to swell up. So you'll see a piece of macaroni that's small will be double the size as the water. Sorry about that, live TV guys. What you do with that is that once you take it out of the hot water, you drain it, get the excess water off, drizzle it with a little olive oil, shake it, and then lay it flat on a baking sheet, and then it go cold that way. Again, as you can see, the pasta doesn't look like it's been in water. So now I'm going to reheat this. I have a pot of boiling salted water there. I'm just going to leave it in there for about 1 or 2 minutes. So whilst that warming up, prime rib. As you can see, I cut the prime rib in like batons, we call it. One, two. Lovely. Now we're going to coat. Get it all nicely incorporated. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish it with butter. Never use enough butter in cooking in my world. See, as you can see, sauce is nice, the sauce is not too thick, it's still a sauce consistency, but it's coating the vegetables, it's coating the prime rib, and I haven't boiled it because I don't need to, because the prime rib is already cooked. If I boil it too much, the prime rib is going to get a little bit tough, and we don't want to do that. So, pasta's been in the water, you shake the excess water off, and what I do, go into a bowl, this out of the way, my fermentation dish. Then what I'll do with this, again, just season it with a little salt. As you can see, the pasta is still just falling through the tongs. There's no oil, you don't need to add oil at this point. On the recipe, as you can see, I put cornichon. I personally, I was shown to put cornichon in beef stroganoff many years ago. I like the pickle and the acidity to it, because as I've talked through the dish, you can tell it's very rich, so this gives it a little twist of a bite. So that's one ingredient you can omit, or you can put in whatever your taste is. You can put it on, not have to mix it in, put it on top at the end if you want. Okay, chop parsley. Show that. See, it's coating. Okay. Plate. Switch around. Plate. Finish with a little bit more chopped parsley. that, the Lowry's twist on a classic beef stroganoff. So like I said, 2 dishes I did today: beef stroganoff, prime rib tacos. As you can see, both very quite simplistic, not overly, didn't take a great deal of time to make, or even the preparation ahead of time. And 2 very diverse kind of uses of leftover prime rib there. Any questions for me?
We have one question from Tanya, and she wants to know what seasoning do we use on our prime rib?
Okay, so the seasoning we use on our prime ribs, we actually have our own seasoning salt, Lowry seasoning salt, which I can't give you the recipe because then you wouldn't be able to come to our restaurants anymore. But what we use is we season our prime ribs for 24 hours before we cook them.
Someone wants to know how you make creamed spinach.
Oh God, you're asking me all the core recipes. So our cream spinach is very unique. We actually have a base of 2 sorts of onions, garlic, and again, I don't want to diverge too much. So 2 lots of onions, garlic, some ground bacon goes in there as well, and then we mince our spinach. So we grind the spinach. So we cook the spinach first, make it dry, then grind it, and then we make what we call it a roux. A roux is a very classic base for a sauce, a thickening of a sauce, which is classic roux made with milk and flour, flour and butter, I should say. So once we add the base of the spinach base, we add the milk, thicken it, add the ground spinach, and you get the world famous Lowry's cream spinach.
Doesn't look like we have any other questions about the actual recipe.
Hopefully I can answer the other ones too.
Alright, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you everyone for tuning in. Like I said, 2 great recipes here, one more with our pho that's on the website. Enjoy and hope to see you soon.